nervous, on the surface I look fine. My brain feels heavy, my traumatized mind. And I'm so tired, I can't feel my eyes. Whoa, whoa. I'm petty, but I know how to lie. I feel feelings that I can't describe. I'm not breathing, but I'm still alive. Whoa, whoa.
Shout out to Neoliberal Tears for this.
Shout out to Twitter/X user Neoliberal Tears for resurfacing this clip.
Neoliberal Tears commented at the top of the show, "What happened to my music?" One of my favorite commenters.
Yeah, big fan.
So much affection for me.
Keep it in mind. Prepare for a holiday season of Neoliberal Tears.
Oh, hi, and welcome to Nightcap with Neoliberal Tears. I'm here, Neoliberal Tears. Hello, beautiful people. I hope you had a beautiful day. You're having a beautiful night. Ready for your nightcap with me. So happy you're here. And I see we already have my besties in the chat. Hello, Kime. Hello, the right and left trousers. I'm so happy to see you. I'm so sorry I'm late. You know, it's just that it's storming where I am and I was having...
It's not false.
Okay. I don't know what just happened. Ryan, are you trying to interrupt me?
False. It's just false, false.
It's not false.
You better not call me a liar, Ryan. I mean, talk about throwing stones from a glass house. You don't want to go there with me, Ryan. Not right now. So as I said before, Ryan rudely interrupted me. It's storming where I am, so I was just making sure my cats were okay. So thank you for waiting on me. I love you. I appreciate you. So I wanted to talk about today Hakeem Jeffries, friend of the show, and someone who might, if Democrats win back the House next year, is going to hold a leadership position because all Democrats decided he was the one. He was their dear leader that needed to be not challenged in any way, shape, or form. So he gave an interview to Meet the Press, which made me depressed. And he talked about Kristen tried to ask him, a few questions about what the priorities for Democrats are going to be if they retake the House. What are they actually going to do for people? Did Hakeem have an answer? No, he did not. No, he did not. But let's take a listen. Let's see what his talking points were and react on this side. Look at Kristen trying to get out of her box. She's trying to break through. We have to help her.
Welcome back. And joining me now is Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York. Leader Jeffries, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Great to have you back. We appreciate it. I do want to start with the recent midterm election results. 7 Democratic incumbent House members have lost their seats this election cycle, Leader Jeffries, including some who you endorsed who lost to more progressive candidates. What message do you think voters are trying to send?
Did she drop like a penny or something? Did you hear that? Sorry, I know that's irrelevant, but I'm just curious. Like, why was she holding a penny? Or maybe it was a pen? Look at me trying to get to the bottom of things. That was a...
Candidates. What message do you think voters are trying to send?
Well, I expect that there will be at least 220 members of the House Democratic Caucus when we take back the majority, if not a number much greater than that. And what is clear is that the American people want us to focus on driving down the high cost of living and dealing with the affordability crisis that has created a situation in this country where far too many people are working hard, they're playing by the rules, but they can't thrive and can barely survive, which is why we as House Democrats are committed to fighting for an affordable America every day.
Fighting for an affordable America. How? How are we going to get there? He doesn't know. He doesn't care. Did Democrats fight for an affordable America 2 years ago when Biden was in office? Fuck no. I really love how politicians, like, really, when they're so out of touch, but they memorize their talking points, they never get into specifics because they don't want to promise you anything. So they just pay lip service to the problem. There's an affordability crisis. Yeah, we know. No shit. What are you doing? What are you going to do about it? We're gonna fight the affordability crisis. We're gonna fight to lower price. How? How are we gonna fight to lower prices? From the right and left trousers here, reacting to this beautiful soliloquy by Hakeem Jeffries. Can thrive, barely survive. That's powerful. That's powerful. I think he's gonna write that down. Hakeem, write that down. That was a good one. That was a zinger.
Every week, every month, until we solve this crisis.
I want to ask you about what is effectively a battle taking place inside the Democratic Party. Longtime Democratic official Rahm.
Fuck, I wish. I wish that was the case. There's no battle. 7 DSA elected officials who I like very much and appreciate and I'm thankful for. I'm on my knees thanking the DSA gods for giving us 7 House members. 7 out of 218 is not a battle. It's a bloodbath. They're not winning anything. Not against this piece of shit. Hakeem Jeffries.
Emanuel, who, as you know, is also eyeing a potential run in 2028, recently described Democratic socialists.
The penny just dropped again. What is going on here? Why is she is it for good luck? Why does she? I think it was Kristen this time.
Potential run in 2028, recently described Democratic socialists this way. Take a look.
You know, last weekend in Chicago, the DSA held their convention. You're not Democrats. You're a separate party. I'll see you in November.
Man, I wish we lived in that world where DSA was its own political party fighting the Democrats. Maybe then Democrats would actually have an incentive to change or to be a little bit better and not such pieces of shit. They'd actually have competition from somewhere. But no, that's not the case. That's not the case. Wish that was the case. Rahm Emanuel, friend of the show.
Do Democratic socialists belong in the Democratic Party, Leader Jeffries?
Well, what I can say is that I do not support defunding the police. I do not support open borders. I do not support abolishing the Senate. We're focused on actually solving problems that hardworking American taxpayers want us to solve, which is to lower the high cost of living in a situation where life is far too expensive in this.
Solving problems by not telling you what the solution is, except pandering to your pain. We're going to lower the cost of living. You know why he's not saying how? Because what he really means when he says that is, we're going to give you tax credits. We're going to give you COBRA subsidies. That's how we're going to, quote, make healthcare affordable, accessible. Some bullshit tax credits. That's what he means when he says we're going to lower prices for working people. It's so insulting. It's so insulting. That's why I'm laughing. I mean, I genuinely think this is funny. It's really funny.
Country. That's the Democratic agenda. That's what House Democrats are fighting to achieve.
Do you think, though, that there is...
Also, if you happen to be drinking something to get through this, I don't blame you. Drink every time Hakeem Jeffries says fighting or delivering. And trust me, you'll be well hammered by the time we're done here. You're welcome.
Room in the Democratic Party under the tent of the Democratic Party for Democratic Socialists? Is it big enough?
Well, listen,
I mean, if it's big enough for Liz fucking Cheney, that's the joke, that it's big enough to sort of have war criminals like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and Bernie Sanders, liberal Zionists, and Rashida Tlaib, who's anti-Zionist, the one anti-Zionist elected official as of now. From The Traveler here. Welcome to the show, The Traveler. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good evening. More hammered than Pelosi's husband. Oh my. Oh my. She's going to come after me for this one. Actually, you know what? She's out of... I think she's out of... yeah, she's retired. I'm not worried anymore. It's okay. Go hard.
I don't support the DSA agenda as has been articulated by the DSA itself. Now, you're going to have individual members who have been elected in Democratic primaries, and if they are elected in the general in November, will be part of the House Democratic Caucus. It's going to be a broad caucus. There will be progressives, there will be New Dems, there will be Blue Dogs. What I'm excited about are the candidates who are running to flip seats in November to deliver us a majority that pushes back against Donald Trump's extremism and moves the country in.
So here's what he's really saying. I don't give a shit about DSA people. Who cares? We have we're the Democratic Party. We are a corporation. We're a team. And the only North Star for us right now is to win. That's all they ever care about. Winning. And then when they won, they're out of things to advocate for. They just accept Cobra subsidies. So that's what he's really saying is I don't care about the SA people. You know, we want to flip the seats that Republicans hold, get a majority, and that's the North Star for all of us. It's also the North Star for all of the bread tubers, the DNC bread tubers that pretend to be independent. That's all they care about. They want a Senate majority for Democrats and a House majority for Democrats. That's the only thing that matters. Policies? Who the fuck cares? Don't ask them. They don't know. From Kime here, they don't even care. I mean, it's true. They don't care about winning. They care about maintaining the status quo. 1,000%. And I genuinely believe, based on the excellent performance we're seeing here from the leader, the dear leader, Hakeem Jeffries, I actually do believe Democrats are going to lose the midterms. They're going to lose the House. They're going to lose the Senate. That's my prediction. I'm just preparing you. I'm not psychic yet. But I genuinely believe, because they're not trying. As much as the DSA people are, they're good people, they're great people. They have, I think, given some good publicity to Democrats when they shouldn't have. And some hope to people who want to believe that the Democratic Party can change from within. If you just elect 5 more, maybe 8. It's not changing. It's not changing. The talking points are exactly the same. We're going to fight to deliver and to lower your costs. How? Who knows? Because they're not doing it. They don't have a plan. This is the plan. And yeah, so I'm just preparing you. I think, unfortunately, we're going to have a Republican trifecta for the next couple years. It's going to be awful, but just preparing you. From okay, let me go up here. From QMA here, Donald Trump is the greatest thing that has ever happened to the Democrats. Record numbers of funds raised. I was thinking about this. It's funny because comedians have actually made this joke that, and Trump himself, that he was actually great for business. He was great for CNN. He was great for all of the media channels that had breaking news chyrons playing on the TV 24/7, forcing people to pay attention, tune in. What did he tweet this time? So great for ratings, and also great for the Democratic Party that tries to negatively polarize you against Republicans, big bad mean Republican, donate to us, give us $5. We'll fight the Trump agenda. Just kidding, actually. As soon as you vote for us into power, we're going to adopt the same Republican Heritage Foundation policies that Republicans adopt. We're just going to name it something else. But I agree with you. Trump, I think there's something to his bombasticness, I guess, that Democrats in the past have been able to fundraise off of. Although now we're seeing the DNC drowning in debt, which puts a smile on my face. Because I think people are sick and tired of Democrats just using Trump as an excuse. And I think in a world where in the future Trump, I mean, he's not going to run again, in my opinion. But let's say we, unfortunately, God forbid, knock on wood, let's say we have to deal with a President Rubio or a President J.D. Vance or whoever the fuck, right? I think Democrats are going to they're going to copy paste the strategy from Trump and say, and just, you know, exaggerate them, or not exaggerate them, but like, you know, play up on the big bad mean orange guy, but they're just going to copy and paste it to J.D. Vance or Rubio and fundraise off of that, as you say. I do think because they never have any new ideas. It's always the same bullshit. They're not creative over there. Look at this. Look at that. Look, whoever wrote his talking points is just like, make sure you say affordability 10 times. Make sure you talk about fighting. That's what people want to hear. Not Medicare for all. Not taxing the billionaires who pay Hakeem Jeffries' campaigns. No. Shh. You're going to have tax credits and you're going to like it. From the right and left trousers, he's the goose that rode the golden staircase. Oh my God, that's so well said. Also, the obsession with gold is so creepy and so tacky. Not creepy, like creepy is whatever, but like it's so tacky. He has like a golden toilet on apparently, and like the Trump version of Disneyland that exists in Florida. So stupid. And it's probably fake gold too. From the Traveler here, they ended up continuing Trump's policies 1,000%. They had the Senate, they had the House, they had the presidency with Biden. Did they repeal Trump's tax cuts like they promised? Fuck no. And that was an easy one. They bloviated about how dangerous Trump was to democracy, how terrible his tax cuts were. And they couldn't even repeal that. Those tax cuts are temporary, at least for now. Trump might write legislation to make them permanent, but they could have done that. They could have codified Roe v. Wade. They would have had Republican support for that. Republican support in general, Roe v. Wade, Republican voters. But then how would they fundraise? Off of women, off of minorities. What would Planned Parenthood do? You can't codify Roe v. Wade now. You have to run on it for 70 more years. And then when they have 90 Senate members, 90 Democrat senators out of 100, then maybe they'll give that up. From Kime here, them drowning in debt isn't due to Trump. It's due to the lackluster delivery of Kamala. That's true. Kamala did cost the DNC quite a bit of money. That's true. As much as she fundraised, all of it went away. Disappeared. The obvious misappropriations of funds. Exactly. From the right and left trousers, donate now so that JD doesn't fuck every historic piece of furniture in the Oval Office. Can you imagine that email? It's just JD Vance and a couch, and just being like, what if this was your couch? From the Traveler, the Trump tax cuts are permanent as of, last year via the big ugly bill. Oh, thank you for that. Oh my God, good to know. Gross. I knew that there was some fuckery with that bill. But the worker tangibles of no tax on some overtime and tips are temporary, while the tangibles to the rich are permanent. Oh, that's so aggravating. That is so aggravating. You see, because Republicans, they can pretend to sort of having delivered on the overtime taxes and wage workers, tipped wage workers, when really those are the changes that are temporary. Disgusting. Well, at least Democrats have a plan for that. No, they don't. No, they don't. You know, here, Hakeem Jeffries, if you're writing this down, if you're watching this, here you go. Here's an easy one. Say you're gonna undo the big ugly bill. Say you're gonna undo that. Lie. Just lie, okay? Even if you're not gonna do that, just say you're gonna undo Trump's big ugly bill. Or you're gonna undo the tax cuts for the rich and you're gonna keep the no tax on overtime or whatever, wage or the tipped wages, not having taxes. You're gonna make that permanent. Just say something. Just say anything.
The right direction. That means us, House Democrats, lowering the high cost of living in areas like groceries and gas, and of course, housing, and fighting to make healthcare affordable for every single American, while at the same period of time pushing back against the corruption that has been unleashed on the American people and holding the crooks accountable.
Coming from such a fucking crook that takes AIPAC money, weapons manufacturers' money, health insurance lobbying money, it's rich. It's rich to hear him all of a sudden talk about crooks and corruption. Ugh, so gross.
Beginning on day one in January of next year.
All right, well, let's talk about your agenda. If you do, in fact, find yourself in power in January of next year, one of the big issues, as you know, many Democratic candidates have been talking about is abolishing ICE. If Democrats win back the House, if you become Speaker, would you bring a vote to abolish ICE to the House floor?
Fuck no. You think he's gonna allow a floor vote on a bill to abolish ICE? Absolutely fucking not. No.
Well, here's what I believe unites Democrats in terms of dealing with the situation that we confront in this country. First, we need a safe, secure, and strong border. We also need to proceed under the principle that immigration enforcement in this country should be fair, just, and humane. And clearly, ICE is completely and totally out of control, which is why Democrats in this Congress haven't given Donald Trump's violent mass deportation machine a dime until we actually see dramatic, bold, and transformational reform. That means ICE conducting itself like every other cop, police officer, and law enforcement agency.
Wow. He wants ICE to act just like every other cop. That's reassuring. This was a threat. And I hate to make this about race, but he has to know the history of like police brutality in America, right? Like, oh my God, are you fucking serious? We just want them to be just like police officers with qualified immunity. We want them to be racist. We want them to profile innocent people and shoot them dead for no reason. That's what he's saying. We want ICE to be just like every other police department. Oh my God. Sorry, I laugh when I'm uncomfortable, and this really made me so uncomfortable because it's like, what else has to happen for Democrats to just like get it through their coconut heads that like things for people are bad, that there aren't enough adjectives in the dictionary for you to, and meaningless words to describe people's struggle to survive. What is it going to take for them to actually get it? I think they're going to have to lose 6 more elections before there ever has to be a real reckoning in the Democratic Party, because right now there's no incentive for them to learn. There's no incentive for them to change. That's what I wish I'm wrong. I really hope to be wrong. But it doesn't seem like Kamala losing and Democrats losing the House, the Senate, like every other branch. It seems like they just they're trying the same thing over again and expecting a different result. Ugh. I see Fascism Watch is in the chat. Welcome, Fascism Watch. Hope your evening is going well. I'm sorry to have to bring it down by bringing on Hakeem Jeffries. Hope you forgive me. Oh, there's an homage to Rachel Corrie. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's where is it? Is it her family having a stream, or let us know so we can check it out later. Thank you for that. We owe her so much, and her family. They're still fighting for justice. They've never given up. Yeah, thank you for checking that out too. Oy. Okay, back to Hakeem.
In this country, because we believe that taxpayer dollars should actually be used to make life more affordable
by sending it to Israel
for the American people, as opposed to brutalizing and killing American citizens like Alex Preddy and Renee Nicole Good, or violently target law.
Shireen Abu Akleh and Eisenhower Agee were also American citizens that were killed by American taxpayer money under your endorsed president, Joe fucking Biden. You didn't care when they were killed, Hakeem fucking Jeffries.
Abiding immigrants, which is what ICE is doing right now.
It sounds like you're saying ICE should be reformed, not abolished. So just to be very clear, would you bring a vote to actually abolish ICE to the House floor? Do you think that goes too far?
What I've said is that we're committed to dramatically reforming.
He can't even answer a straight question. This is the person that DSA refused to primary this year when they had a chance. The Democratic base is fed up. They hate the party. They hate the leadership. They hate Hakeem Jeffries. No one likes the leadership of the Democratic Party. Not even Democrats. Democratic voters, I mean. But it's not the right time. It wasn't the right time. AOC said it wasn't the right time to primary Hakeem Jeffries. Zoran Mamdani said it wasn't the right time to primary Hakeem Jeffries. And now we're stuck with this piece of shit, corrupt piece of shit, who takes money from all of the death profiteers. We're stuck with him having a stroke on Meet the Press and unable to answer a single fucking question directly. That's why I'm saying it's not just Hakeem Jeffries being incredibly pathetic. It's the progressive wing of DSA refusing to challenge him in the Democratic primary. Forget running as an independent. You could have primaried him as Democrats. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse. And now he's going to be leader if Democrats take back the House, which they won't. But what fundamental change do you think this person is going to deliver to people? Nothing. But it's almost as if progressive Democrats or DSA people or leftists, they like having Jeffries in the leadership position, denying them a vote on abolishing ICE, denying them a vote on Medicare for all, denying a vote on any bill that would improve people's lives. because then they can just say, oh, Jeffrey said no. Sorry, I wanted it, but Jeffrey said no. Jeffries, who I endorsed for speaker, said no. They like having all of these obstacles in their way to not actually delivering anything, in my opinion.
ICE in a variety of different ways, consistent with what the American people want us to do. In other words, the mask should come off, body cameras should come on, judicial warrants should be required.
The agent that killed Renee Good had his camera on. But they're so married to their talking points. They can't give that up about body cameras are going to solve this. Thank you, the traveler. They already had they already have body cameras on. They refuse to update their talking points. They're that disconnected from reality. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But I think really the crime to me isn't that someone as stupid and as insulting to our intelligence as Hakeem Jeffries somehow weaseled his way to power in the Democratic Party. It's that progressives refused to primary him and they endorsed him for leadership when they didn't need to. Also from the traveler here, and what's funny, not in a haha way, is that the cop that killed Renee Good came from the Obama era. Oh my God. Ooh. Oh. That's really the story, I think. Also, that the Democratic Party complicity in funding ICE, even during the Biden era, Democrats, when they had the House, the Senate, and the presidency, Democrats, including AOC, in the end voted present that allowed the bill to go through, that increased funding for Capitol Police, to ICE, to police departments all around the country. They voted present so they can say, oh, I didn't actually vote yes on it. I voted present. But they could have voted no, and voting no would have tanked it. It would have tanked that bill. It was like $50 billion or something. So really, I think it is a question of Obama era complicity, of Biden era complicity. These agencies wouldn't be what they are today without Democrats funding them all along the way. That really is the story. And now they're refusing to defund. They demonize people. If you are just alone in your house and you're saying maybe we should defund the police, Democrats are going to show up at your house. They're going to call the police on you and say, how the fuck dare you? That is a bad slogan. How fucking dare you? They're going to beat you up, and then they're going to call the police to beat you up too. From Kime here, Biden funded the police to higher levels than even that of the Trump administration. I have the data or graph for it. Oh my God. Because really the way it goes is like, they always try to top off or break the record of whatever the previous president did. So if if Trump in his first term gave the police $25 billion and ICE $25 billion, Democrats are going to say, okay, we have to give them $40 billion next year. It's always on the increase, you know? The costs keep going higher and higher and higher. It's like the defense budget. It never goes down, no matter who's in charge.
Before ICE can storm into the homes of the American people, rip them out of their bed in the dead of night, and try to detain them without justification. We also need to make sure that ICE agents are actually subject to prosecution at the state and local level so that they can be held criminally accountable.
Not federal level.
When they break the law. That's not what's happening right now. When you have a Justice Department under Todd Blanche, for instance, that's become a wholly owned subsidiary of the Trump cartel and Donald Trump's extreme agenda, as opposed to standing up for the rule of law.
All right, let's move on to Medicare for All. You co-sponsored Medicare for All legislation from 2013 to 2021. You've not co-sponsored
8 years. 8 years. He was a co-sponsor of Medicare for All. First of all, it's news to me. Second of all, it shows you how meaningless it is to be a co-sponsor on Medicare for All. Hakeem Jeffries was one. Now he's not. Now he's not because he doesn't want to be. Doesn't matter. Oh, but I'm a co-sponsor on Medicare for All. Don't primary me. Such a fucking joke.
Sponsored it since you became Democratic leader. Will you put Medicare for All up for a vote if you become Speaker?
Well, listen, these are all conversations that the House Democratic Caucus is going to have. Right now, we're focused on November 3rd, not January 3rd. What we are promising the American people is that we're going to fight to make healthcare affordable.
Take a shot. Take a shot if you're at home. You know what? Also, if you're drinking water or if you're sober or anything like that, have a drink of water. Have a sip. It's good for you. It's good to drink water. He said it. We're going to fight for you. How? We're going to fight for you. You know, I had an English teacher, and when he was teaching us how to, this is so in the weeds. Bear with me. I have a point here. I had an English teacher in high school who talked about how when you analyze poems or like any story, you have to answer 3 questions. The what, so you have to describe what the poem is about. The what, the how, so how is the author or the poet is doing what he's doing, what is, you know, and why. So those 3, what, how, and why. And if you got all 3, you're doing something right. Hakeem, I'm saying this, bestie, I'm telling you this in kindness, with kindness and love in my heart. You're literally stuck on the what without saying any of the how and without any of the why. So what policies are Democrats going to push if you take back the majorities? We are going to fight to lower your costs. We are going to lower your grocery bills. We're going to deliver fighting for you. Honestly, he's not even really describing the what because he's just vague. It's like he's vague posting. He's vague speaking. He's really like the perfect example of why people hate politicians. Just lip service, pandering, describing your pain in acute detail without offering any solutions.
Affordable for every single American. And we know there's a lot of damage that Republicans have done that we've got to restore and repair. For instance, Republicans have enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. More than $1 trillion or so has been cut from Medicaid. And what you're going to have is about 14 million Americans lose access to health care.
Do you personally support Medicare for All? Do you personally support Medicare for All?
No, as you indicated, I haven't co-sponsored the Medicare for All legislation that has been introduced over the last several years. I do think we need to figure out how to fix our broken healthcare system and then build something better once we repair the damage that has been done. Now, that will include doing things like extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits so that more than...
Oh my God, I knew this was gonna come. I knew this was gonna happen. We are gonna fix the broken healthcare system with COBRA subsidies. It's like, I can't run away. I can't get away from COBRA subsidies. Shut the fuck up about COBRA. What really annoys me about COBRA subsidies is that health insurance companies get to keep their profits because the costs, as you all know, if you're listening to this, keep going up and up and up. And then the COBRA tax credits or whatever the fuck are just paying the insurance companies so they can rip us off even more while ripping the taxpayer off too. So it's like you're letting them make even more money by giving them subsidies. It's the worst system that Democrats created with the Unaffordable Care Act. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let me go back up here. From Kime here, Obama called the protesters at Standing Rock in Ferguson terrorists. Oh my God. I didn't even know that. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's specifically putting a target on their back and trying to prosecute them. That's crazy. Also, the Ferguson activists, I mean, so many of them were killed in like suspicious circumstances. It was really evil what happened there. And it was all under Democrats. God, that's crazy. From the Traveler, the argument AOC had about co-sponsors, it just shows you it was flat out BS, 1000%. If you're a co-sponsor, you're on the team. You shouldn't be you're a co-sponsor. Yeah, Hakeem Jeffries was a fucking co-sponsor on Medicare for All. Look at him now. Co-sponsor is a joke. Let's all just agree that let's abolish co-sponsors. How about that? Let's start there. Abolish co-sponsors, then we can abolish the Senate, which totally fair. From Fascism Watch, Biden never negotiated once for a ceasefire. It's true. It's true. He pretended to. He said, "Oh, I'm trying so hard. I told Bibi Netanyahu, fuck you, and then I leaked it to Axios. Oh, I tried so hard." And then even Ilhan Omar tweeted that the Biden administration never fought for a ceasefire, never worked tirelessly for a ceasefire. From the Traveler here, the damn phrase access to healthcare. You know what? Abolish the phrase access to healthcare. Let's start there. Because I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it. Because what they really mean is, when they say access to healthcare, they just mean COBRA subsidies. But they don't want to say it. They think it sounds nicer. It sounds nicer. Oh, just a little more, guys. Just a little more. It's the Democratic Party leader. We have to listen to him. Dear leader.
20 million people who have seen their health insurance premiums skyrocket, in some cases by up to $1,000 a month. That's not sustainable. And that's something that Donald Trump and Republicans have visited upon the American people.
Just to be very clear, though, as a Democratic leader in the House, would you vote for or against Medicare for All?
I think, as you've indicated in your question to me, it's not legislation that I currently am co-sponsoring or that I support.
Okay.
But we do support the notion that we've got to find a path forward to fix our broken healthcare system and make healthcare affordable for every single American.
All right.
With COBRA subsidies for all. Fuck you, Hakeem. Fuck you, COBRA subsidies. Fuck you, Democrats. And a special fuck you to friend of the show, Ryan Grimm.
False. This is false,
But
false, false,
no, it's not false.
From the Traveler, I remember at one point in 2021 to 2022, Jayapal went from Medicare for All to access to healthcare. Jayapal isn't consistent even with her own bullshit. We're gonna hear from her in a little bit. She's here. She's here. Oh my God, she's here. But let me show you just one more thing about Hakeem Jeffries, or just a few things. From friend of the show, Sandy Ocasio-Cortez. She came out with a statement back when After Chi Ose, who's a city council member in New York City, DSA member, he filed paperwork to explore running against Hakeem Jeffries. And AOC gave a press conference to say, no, not right now. Don't primary Hakeem Jeffries, not right now. Yeah, he's a death profiteer. Yeah, he's against Medicare for all. He's against abolishing ICE. But she said, primary challenge to Hakeem Jeffries, it's not a good thing right now. It's not a good thing right now. Not right now. There is a liberal proverb I'm sure we are all familiar with that says, now is not the time. Now is never the time. Chi Ose, a member of New York City's council and Democratic Socialist, filed paperwork on Monday to run against Hakeem Jeffries in the Empire State's 8th Congressional District. I certainly don't think a primary challenge to the leader is a good thing right now, Ocasio-Cortez told Axios on Monday. Ocasio-Cortez herself defeated incumbent Joe Crowley, then the chair of the Democratic caucus, to represent New York's 14th Congressional District in the 2018 primary race. Her political action committee, Courage to Change, also endorsed Ose's initial run for city council. So this was a DSA member from Hakeem Jeffries' district, Chi Ose, who AOC even knew to an extent. She endorsed him to run for city council. And maybe he would have lost. Maybe Hakeem Jeffries is so entrenched in New York City political life because he's been in the office for 12 years. Maybe he would have lost. Maybe Hakeem Jeffries would have won and Chi Ose would have lost. But why not even make Hakeem Jeffries sweat a little bit? Why not just run a primary because you believe in democracy? Because it's good to like make him feel some kind of heat from the left. It's not a good thing right now. It's just not a good thing right now. And I'm not going to tell you why it's not a good thing right now, but it's not a good thing right now. I think you're not a good thing right now. Here's another article from 2021 when Democrats it's interesting. So it goes into the deliberations of how certain progressive groups actually did want to challenge Hakeem Jeffries for the speakership role, or to at least extract some concessions from him. You know, the way the Republicans did to Kevin McCarthy. They refused to vote for him, they held out, and they got concessions out of it on legislation. And let me read to you how that went when they tried to bring it up to Democrats. And this was before Hakeem Jeffries was voted for, of course. The article is from August 10, 2021. In several conference calls in the spring, Justice Democrats' staff joined a collection of congressional aides and other groups like the Working Families Party and the Sunrise Movement to discuss how to extract concessions from Jeffries on his way to becoming Speaker. The groups hoped to at least force him into winning on a second ballot, meaning if he doesn't win on the first ballot because they held out, it goes to another round and another round and another round, and Hakeem Jeffries sort of goes to people and say, okay, you didn't vote for me. What do you want? Do you want a floor vote on Medicare for all? Do you want more COBRA subsidies? I can double your COBRA subsidies. What do you want? What do you want? That's how it kind of goes. So they knew it would be maybe a losing proposition, but at least they wanted to try. To discuss how to extract concessions from Jeffries on his way to becoming Speaker, the groups hoped to at least force him into winning on a second ballot and making deals for support along the way. But they couldn't agree on how to do that or find any member willing to run against him in a Speaker vote. They couldn't find any Democratic House member that would have agreed to run against Jeffries. All of them are that much of fucking cowards. No one wanted to run against him for Speaker. No one. It didn't happen because no one thought it was a good idea. One of the people on the calls told me, asking for anonymity to discuss private conversations. The person described the calls as, quote, part of a larger conversation about how progressives could use their leverage with a very narrow majority. The groups couldn't get the Congressional Progressive Caucus interested in their ideas, so they gave up. The Congressional Progressive Caucus refused to even entertain an idea of challenging the dear leader. The leader. It's not a good thing right now. It's just not a good idea right now. So we have to have a corrupt leader who takes APAC money and health insurance money. The groups couldn't get the Congressional Progressive Caucus interested in their ideas, so they gave up. That was the right move, some on the calls thought. Jeffries is for the most part progressive by their standards. I just gave myself chills reading that bullshit. And anyway, he seems to have the speaker votes lined up and doesn't need any more antagonizing. If they took him on, they'd only lose and look weak. Fighters. They're fighters. Democrats are fighters. Except they don't want to fight anything. Anything or anyone for anything. But it's not just AOC. Unfortunately. Zoran Mamdani, as soon as he was elected, like literally, as soon as he got into office, one of the first things he said was, I endorse Hakeem Jeffries for speaker. You're a New York City mayor. Why the fuck are you endorsing? Why you can just stay out of it. You can just say, I don't work in Congress. I don't have anything to do in Congress. I don't know. If Hakeem Jeffries wins, great. If he doesn't win, great. I don't know. I'm not in Congress. But one of the first olive branches Zoran Mamdani wanted to extend to corrupt idiots like Hakeem Jeffries is to say, I endorse you for speaker, and I won't endorse a primary challenger against you. So let's hear his bullshit. When he came on the Majority Report to explain why he didn't support a primary challenge to Hakeem Jeffries. It's not a good thing, right?
Of primary challenges, and much of this I would say is typically private within DSA, but everything I've said has been reported publicly, so I might as well just speak about it to you directly. I went to the endorsement forum that was considering whether or not to endorse C in that primary challenge, and what I said there is that this is not a question of the ballot box of who you would rather vote for. This is a question of how you want to spend the next year. Do you want to spend the next year fulfilling the agenda at the heart of this movement?
So this obviously is a false choice. Like, how do you want to spend the next year? I want to spend it primarying a piece of shit like Hakeem Jeffries. And I also think you should deliver on free buses and all of the free childcare, all of the things that New York City has been building towards anyway. It's not an either or. Of course not. But he's presenting it as if it is. As if you have to choose either primary Hakeem Jeffries or deliver on the mayoral agenda in New York City. It's not that's a false choice. I know, I hate to call it out like that. He smiles, he's such a cute guy. He's smiling when he's lying. But that's not an answer. The real answer is he didn't want to anger Hakeem Jeffries. He didn't want to go against Hakeem Jeffries. Because Hakeem Jeffries could have retaliated by running establishment pieces of shit against DSA members and city council to fuck up Zoran's agenda. He could have been vindictive in that way. Hakeem Jeffries could have primary DSA senators in New York City, just to fuck them up. I don't think he would have won. No one cares who Hakeem Jeffries endorses. No one likes Hakeem Jeffries. But Zoran didn't want to take that on, just like he didn't want to take on the NYPD. Doesn't want to go against that.
Do you want to spend it defending the caricatures of that movement? And the decision that I made, and the one that I shared with other members that night, as they were considering.
If you have a real movement, elected officials should fear your movement and fear a primary from your movement, from DSA. It's not a caricature. Like, you're not proving a caricature by running a primary against an extremely unpopular elected official who is opposed to your agenda in every way.
Considering how to participate in that democratic process is to maximize every chance we have to fulfill the promises we made door after door, call after call, with many New Yorkers who had otherwise lost faith in politics years ago, so that we can tell.
Those people lost faith in politics years ago because of people like Hakeem Jeffries, who you refused to support a primary for, or even just stay out of it. Because what Zoran did is so gross. Like, he went to a DSA endorsement forum where Chi was sort of trying to make his case for why he would primary Hakeem Jeffries. And Zoran showed up as an elected mayor and told everybody in the DSA endorsement forum that they should not support a primary challenge to Hakeem Jeffries. He didn't just say it on camera. He didn't just say it to media outlets. He went to DSA to persuade them against primarying one of the largest recipients of AIPAC money.
Tell them that success isn't just measured in the election we've already had, but also in our fulfillment of the agenda at the heart of that election.
Well,
and
yes.
I think that this.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Well, I don't know. And I was just going to say that I don't ever presume that everyone will come to the same conclusion as me. I don't think that dissent or critique is something that I'm above in sharing these decisions, but they do come from this as my framework, and I think it's honestly helpful to be able to share it with people.
No, I appreciate that, and I'm just eager to ask you these things because we have you for such a limited time. Really, is one is it your kind of belief basically that delivering on your agenda in terms of the macro constituency that Sam was just speaking about is the best way to kind of show how the movement can expand and have more politicians like yourself across the country run in that way? And I would imagine that was motivating you and what you said to DSA. And two, does that mean that you're ruling out supporting primary challenges broadly throughout the city?
No, that I've made no sweeping decision on something at like a larger level as that. And
he might as well have just ruled out endorsing primary challengers altogether, because if the leader of the Democratic Party is as corrupt as Hakeem Jeffries, it doesn't matter if you have 30 DSA elected officials. They're not going to move Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries is there, and he has sole discretion over which bills get a floor vote and which bills get shoved under the mattress for the next 10 years. So it doesn't matter if you elect 40 other DSA elected officials. If Hakeem Jeffries is at the top, which is that's the world you helped establish, the political climate that you contributed to, you're not seeing any improvement. You're not seeing any change in the Democratic Party thanks to your decision. So it doesn't even matter. You can endorse all the primary challenges or none of them. It's not going to make a difference because you endorsed one of the most corrupt people in government to continue having his leadership position that he is not entitled to. It really doesn't matter. You already fucked yourself over. You fucked those voters that you said you care about, who are disaffected and disenchanted with the political system. You fucked them over by refusing to primary Hakeem Jeffries, who now won't even have a floor vote on abolishing ICE, won't even have a floor vote on Medicare for all, but will get Cobra subsidies. Thank you. Thank you, Zoran Mamdani. Thank you, Hakeem Jeffries. You're really making a difference here. From Fascism Watch, they make me sick. 100%. All of them. There's something that Wendy Williams said on her show. I can't say it without getting flagged. But if you've seen Wendy Williams, you know what I'm talking about. From the right and left trousers, we have a Cobra subsidies emoji, and it's a Cobra snake and a money snake. That's perfect. Closest emoji form I could get to Cobra subsidies. I love it. Cobra subsidies for all. Yay! Hakeem Jeffries should put that on a t-shirt. They should open a Cobra subsidies for all pack. Sam and Emma, from Fascism Watch. Sam and Emma, the Plattner left. Yeah, the Abu Ghraib left. The Blackwater left. The DNC left. Emma is talking for DSA. She is sold. Emma would be sold on anything an elected official says. Because they're elected. She thinks they're celebrities. She wants to be close to power. It makes her horny. It makes her juiced up. It's all of the most pathetic incarnations of access journalism you can imagine. From the right and left trousers, then Elizabeth Warren can adopt the snake emoji like she always wanted it. Yo! Oh my God. That's perfect. And if she runs for God, is she going to threaten us with a presidential run? I think she might. I think she might think it's her moment. If she does, I think putting the snake emoji front and center in her campaign, maybe even make a flag out of it. I think that would work on so many levels. Obviously, the snake and and fucking Bernie over. We all remember. But also it would speak for Cobra subsidies that she loves so much. Embrace this, lean into the snake, Elizabeth. Lean in. Make it work for you.
To your first question, I think often about what Bernie said at our rally, which was that what our opponents in the campaign feared the most was the power of example. And that example is not of just winning the election. That's the example of delivering a rent freeze, of fast and free buses, of universal childcare.
None of those things he just mentioned are things that Hakeem Jeffries would have had any jurisdiction over. But he's presenting it as if supporting a primary challenge to Hakeem Jeffries would have cost you no free buses and no free childcare. It's so gross because he's not telling the truth. He's not telling you the real reason. I had some backdoor dealing with Hakeem Jeffries. I want to start off on a good foot. I want to make sure I don't make myself enemies when I'm just getting myself in here. I want to make sure his donor network is on my side. I want to make sure I don't have any problems with them. Instead, he's presenting it as, if I supported a primary challenge to Hakeem Jeffries, again, one of the most corrupt people in the world, potentially, then you can't have all of the nice things I promised. It's a false choice. It's also lying. And I think that speaks to a weakness that Zoran has that I think we're going to see, unfortunately, more of. The more he sort of reneges on doing the right thing, I think we're going to see more of this side of him, the side that kind of just like talks in circles, that obfuscates the truth, that's not being direct or clear with his answer, that's smiling as a way to sort of paper over the fact that he's not being straight up. He's not giving you the truth. Even Sam looks confused, but to be fair, Sam is an idiot. I don't expect Sam to know anything. From the right and left trousers, we can tell everyone it represents the join or die thing. And we're reclaiming it from the Marine Corps and right-wing wackadoos. Oh my God, do they have snakes too? That's how little I know of like right-wing wackadoos. Like I mean, that would make sense. Also, like, we want to reclaim it away from Slytherin and the Harry Potter world. I'm so millennial. Reclaim the cobras, guys. Reclaim the cobras. From the right and left trousers, backdoor lover. Sorry, slightly homophobic joke, but still the best part of the Josie and the Pussycats movie. No, you are. I'm giving you the passes. I haven't seen that movie, so I'm gonna make a note here to see it. By the way, the right and left trousers. Did you know that that Wallace and Gromit, they have a YouTube channel, and they also make like new content using clay animation? Anyway, just I found that out myself. I'm gonna be watching the Wallace and Gromit movie, thanks to you. So I thought you should know they also make new content. Yeah, indeed. And it's like long. It's like 30-minute clips. I hope they don't use AI. I don't think they're using AI because I love the clay animation part so much. You're welcome. From Fascism Watch here, he is the weakest mayor New York City ever had. I'm trying to look back. You know, something I think about, I think Zoran, I think he actually said that after he was elected, that he wanted to basically be just like Bill de Blasio, but with better social media reach. Because de Blasio, if you look at his record overall, it was kind of liberal, progressive. You know, universal pre-K was a thing established under de Blasio. He passed an affordable housing plan that was not affordable, but I mean, at least tried to sort of subsidize rent for people if you had fixed incomes. You had to it was like a housing lottery system that you have to apply for. And again, it's still extremely expensive, but at least he did all of these like liberal reforms. He just had no charisma, Bill de Blasio. And he had like, I think, a weird acrimonious relationship with the press. But I actually think Zoran and Bill de Blasio are very similar in terms of the substance of the policies they want to pass. I think Bill was like, I think he was well-meaning, and overall like so much better than Eric Adams and whatever Bloomberg, but all of he wasn't like a right-wing psychopath or Giuliani, like, you know what I mean. He was, there were parts of de Blasio's agenda that were actually pretty good because civil, especially immigration rights groups, have been lobbying legislators for years to have certain reforms. I think they created one of the first and the largest city ID programs that allowed people who were undocumented or people without stable residence to apply for a government-issued city ID card. Like that was a thing de Blasio also championed. So there were good things with de Blasio. It's just that, and I think Zoran is gonna end up having a very similar tenure. I could be wrong.
Because those are things you can hold on to. Those are things that you can actually feel and see in your life. And so much of politics is this game of translation where a politician says something and then you have to jump through 10 hoops to understand how it relates to you, or if you're eligible, or if you hit the threshold. And these are not things that require that kind of a translation. These are things that are direct to our lives. And I think that it's, I remember when I was running for assembly, a friend of mine, Kara McCurdy, who's an incredible photographer who works on our campaign, I gave her the palm card that we had just designed with Anish, who actually created the logo for this mayoral campaign. And I thought it was the best palm card we'd ever made. And she looked at it and she said, "What do these words mean?" And we were just using a language that speaks only to a very specific set of people. And I think it just comes back to that you need to speak directly to people, you need to speak about policies that are also direct to their.
I think this example that he just gave is really interesting because it sort of tells you about his instincts and his background. You know, like, so he's saying here that when he ran for state assembly, he made a card that he thought, he made like a palm card, you know, like a political advertising card, whatever, like flyer, one of the things you sort of give out on the street. And he said he thought the language was great, that it was the best language ever. I imagine it, maybe it said something like access to healthcare for all, or we support, you know, everybody, you know, like whatever liberal euphemisms you can think of. Let's see. Can you guys think of any in the chat? Access to healthcare. Ryan, can you think of any? Ryan, are you here? Ryan is being quiet. You can, what I'm really thinking of is like language that's like liberal, vague, non-committal, but sounds good. From the right and left trousers, kitchen table, yada, 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 100%, thank you. Abundance from the traveler, yes, yes. I'm fighting for your right to live in abundance, and, you know, like you can imagine, you can sort of imagine the vagueness of that, of the language that he thought was so successful, and then somebody from outside of his group or someone new to his group had to sort of tell him, what do these words mean? Like literally, what are you like access to healthcare, or you know, kitchen table issue, like it's not, those terms mean nothing to people. You have to be specific. And I think that's what made his mayoral campaign more successful, is that he was actually focusing on the promises, like free buses, 2 words, right? Free buses, free fast buses, 3 words, you know, rent freeze, 2 words. Like you have to actually, what are you promising people? That's not just like you sort of taking them on a swim in the clouds and making them try to fish for it out of your euphemisms. I think it's interesting because I think his tendency, or at least his maybe training and whatever, academic, college, is to actually find those those words of hope and change. I'm thinking of Pete Buttigieg. You know how he would sort of come up with platitudes to mask the lack of substance? But, you know, he would try to come up with words that make you feel something without actually promising anything. I think that Zoran might have a little bit of him and a little bit of that in him. But I'm glad that he was able to sort of take advice and listen to people who told him, no, you have to be direct, you have to be specific. And from the traveler here, what would a $15 an hour minimum wage mean for you and your family? Oh my God. I think there was like a month where like Pramila Jayapal just kept, or whoever worked for her, kept tweeting it. Like, what would it mean for you? Shut up and do it, you witch. Don't ask me to describe to you what it would mean to me. So annoying.
Their lives. And
oh, actually, we have another one here from the traveler. Oh God, 25,000. Another liberal campaign promise: $25,000 first-time homebuyers credit. Actually, $25,000 tax credit. Oh my God, that's perfect. That's exactly what someone like a strategist working in DC like writes down and thinks, oh my God, I just came up with the most brilliant idea. Homes cost $500,000. What if we give people 1% in tax credit reimbursement? What's another fake liberal promise? There's so many. Like, I'm thinking like, yeah. From the Ryan Left Trousers, abundance feels like Ezra Klein fed some chatbot a prompt to formulate the one-word intersection of voguing and an economic headline in the New York Times, trying to rebrand reparations as home tax credits too. Ugh. Yeah, no, 1,000. I totally agree on both fronts. I would not be surprised, honestly, if ChatGPT had been available to like New York Times writers even before you and I, like regular you people, you besties and I, even became aware that AI was a thing. I'm pretty sure people had like open door access to it or whatever, like early access, beta access. And it would not surprise me to discover that Ezra Klein came up with the abundance agenda. Also, apparently they have like an abundance agenda caucus in the Democratic Party, and it has like 50 people in it, way bigger than any DSA cohort that you can imagine. So good luck for the Democratic Party. I see a bright future there. But yeah, trying to rebrand reparations as home tax credits too. What was the other thing Kamala promised? If you open a minority business, no, hold on. If you graduate and within the first 5 years open a minority-run business within certain opportunity zones, then we would give you $100 in a gift card that you can only spend on GameStop or something, something you can't even eat with, you know? Yeah, like, so I think Democrats had an opportunity zone to learn from Zoran's campaign about offering people disaffected voters. A lot of Trump voters ended up voting for Zoran. Not a lot, but some. And people who were non-voters or non-frequent voters, so people that gave up on the Democratic Party, came out and did support Zoran. So I think there was an opportunity for the Democratic Party to sort of reshuffle, reassess. And what did they do? Instead, we saw with Hakeem Jeffries, they just wrote down the word affordability, made sure to say it 25 times in every interview, and call it a day. Oh, and also do like direct-to-camera videos. Ha! TikToks. From the Ryan Left Trousers, do you remember the thing she campaigned on about e-coins for black men or something? There was something about crypto. There was, you're right. There was like a, I'll look that up. While we say goodbye to our friends at the, what was it? The misanthropy report from Kime here. Thank you, misanthropy report. Goodbye. And I wanted to also, I guess, share this as like our way to regulate our nervous system. Yay. Just to remind us of this video from Hakeem Jeffries, where he was going through the letters of the alphabet. What a writer. Such a brilliant writer. Listen to this inspiring, rousing speech that he gave. And laugh along if you can, if you're able.
But I also want to make clear that we will never compromise our principles. House Democrats will always put American values over autocracy, benevolence over bigotry, the Constitution over the cult, democracy over demagogues, economic opportunity over extremism, freedom over fascism, governing over gaslighting, hopefulness over hatred, inclusion over isolation, justice over judicial overreach, knowledge over kangaroo courts, liberty over limitation, maturity over Mar-a-Lago, normalcy over negativity, opportunity over obstruction, people over politics, quality of life issues over QAnon, reason over racism, substance over slander, triumph over tyranny, understanding over ugliness, voting rights over voter suppression, working families over the well-connected, xenial over xenophobia, yes we can over you can't do it, and zealous representation over zero-sum confrontation. We will always do the right thing by the American people. So let us not grow weary of doing good. For the American people will reap the benefit of the harvest if we do not give up. God bless you, God bless the House, and God bless the United States of America.
What an order.
Welcome back. And joining me now is Democratic
No,
House
no,
Minority Leader Hakeem
no.
Jeffries of New York. Leader Jeffries, welcome back to Meet the Press.
No. Oh my God, I panicked. I thought for sure Ryan Grimm was going to make me listen to that again. Oh. So let's look at the exhilarating agenda that the exhilarating plan that Kamala Harris had. Kamala Harris expands economic plan with focus on Black men. Let's read it together. To take notes on what not to do. Vice President Harris on Monday released an economic agenda for Black men focusing on helping business owners, teachers, cryptocurrency investors, men with health conditions, and men in the marijuana industry. She laid out the focused agenda in an effort to provide Black men the tools to thrive, to buy a home, to provide for our families. Tools. That's another word liberals love to use. Tools. We're going to give you the tools. We're not going to give you money. We're just going to give you tools. To provide for our families, start a business, and build wealth. Her plan involves providing 1 million fully forgivable loans of up to $20,000 to Black entrepreneurs and others who have historically faced barriers to starting a business. The proposal builds on her small business plan, which includes a tenfold expansion of the tax deduction for startup expenses. It also involved a national health equity initiative that would aim to address sickle cell disease, diabetes, mental health, prostate cancer, and other health conditions that disproportionately impact Black men, but not Medicare for all. And it involves legalizing marijuana nationally and creating opportunities for Black Americans to succeed in the industry. Don't forget that Kamala Harris also locked up people from marijuana offenses when she was prosecutor in California. Harris would also provide education, training, and mentorship programs that help Black men get jobs in high-demand industries, specifically targeting teaching jobs. Additionally, the campaign said Harris would push for a regulatory framework for cryptocurrency and other digital assets to protect Black men who are invested in them. More than 20% of Black Americans own or have owned cryptocurrency assets, according to the campaign. So, very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. Very specific. Increasing the startup tax deduction. From the right and left trousers. That's one letter for every one of the 52 states. if we're going by old dirty bastards count. It was too many. It was too many. And I'm just wondering, like, who told him it would be a good fun idea to like play that game on TV, on camera. What was it like? Knowledge over kangaroo court. I mean, oh my God. Liberals are destroying humor. They're coming after your jokes. They're coming after your puns. So something the Traveler mentioned is an evil, evil human being named Pramila Jayapal, who ran on pretending to be progressive. She, as she loves to remind people, she wrote the Medicare for All bill. What's more likely is that she tortured some 22-year-old working for her to write 140 pages of the Medicare for All bill. But as soon as Biden got elected and Democrats won the House and won the Senate, she had all of these excuses for why she couldn't put it on the floor. And actually, it would be a bad idea to have a floor vote on Medicare for All. So I wanted to remind us of all of those excuses. Because it's not just Hakeem. It's the Democratic Party is rotten to the core. From every angle, every segment you look. In a way, Hakeem is a perfect, Hakeem and his poetry, his puns, they're a perfect representation of the core rot in the Democratic Party.
Have term limits on chairmanship. Democrats do not. We do not have term limits.
So I think what she was saying here before the video cut her off is that Republicans have term limits on chairmanships of committees. Democrats do not. So the same seniors get to hold on to the chairmanships forever.
On leadership, we don't have term limits on chairmanships. That is the kind of change that would allow for somebody to challenge any leadership, whether it's Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, or anyone down the road. None of that structure exists. And so I think when people look at what we need to do, the reality is you've got to develop. I'm an infrastructure gal. You know that. I started an organization fighting for immigrant rights from scratch, built it to be the largest immigrant rights organization in Washington state. It's why we have some of the...
Oh, we can't ask for concessions from Hakeem Jeffries or Nancy Pelosi because we need infrastructure. We need to build. We need to build a house. We need to find the tools. We need to start a PAC. We need to fundraise. We need to do all of these things that apparently Republicans didn't need to do to extract concessions from Mike Johnson and before that, Kevin McCarthy. They didn't have to build the infrastructure. You have to build, you have to build, you have to build. From the right and left trousers. Next time Jeffries needs to do a poem with the Hebrew alphabet. Oh God. Oh God. Hey Jeffries, if you need some help, if you wanna go over the Hebrew alphabet, I can help you out. I won't, but I can. But I won't.
The best policies. And so I just think that we need more people that are focused on the building of the deconstruction and the reconstruction of the structures that exist, because it isn't as simple as just...
We need to focus on the deconstruction and the reconstruction on the construction that exists. Lady, the question is, why won't you ask for one fucking concession from Nancy Pelosi or specifically a floor vote on Medicare for All while we have a Democratic president, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic House? No, we need to deconstruct and reconstruct and all of the construction. What are you talking about?
Saying, let's have a vote. If you don't have somebody to put up for a leadership position, and if you don't do the work within the system that exists today, you're not going to get it done. So that's the only point I'm making. I don't disagree with you. Actually, I think we both agree on all of the pieces of what has to happen. I just think...
I agree with your strategy. I agree. We agree on the goals, you and I. We have the same goals, you and I. Fascism Watch, thank you for reminding me. I wasn't gonna do this witch the honors, but Marianne Williamson is here. She's the one that had this interview with Pramila Jayapal. Marianne, the racist Zionist, who very much belongs in the Democratic Party. I never think about Marianne anymore. I think it means that I've worked through my trauma and she doesn't upset me as much. But I had spent too many months of my life, especially when Marianne was pretending to run for president, trying to tell people that a Zionist is not worthy of any votes. And having, I hate to say it, but like, there are a lot of people in the left media that were friends with Marianne, or maybe still are friends with Marianne, who really pushed her campaign, despite literally nobody else being interested, including myself. So that's just a painful memory that I've worked through. Thank you for allowing me to share that. I'm from the Traveler. I'm not enrolled in your interpretation of events. Thank you. Oh my God, that was fuck. Where was that from? God, I know she said it about something psycho, but like I can't. It was about Palestine for sure, right? Was it with Katie? Was it on Bree's show? Oh my God, that's so fucking funny. I'm not enrolled in your interpretation. And mind you, the interpretation was apartheid. Oh my God. Oh, her gaslighting us back in 2021 on Twitter, yeah. So I had to fight with a lot of people who I didn't want to be fighting with. Not fighting, but like arguing against people who were like, well, she's better than Biden, but she's better than Biden. And it's like, and this was, mind you, I'm pretty sure she announced her run even before the genocide started. So there was kind of like, she really wanted to challenge Biden, so she started it really early. And I think Marianne wormed herself into these people's lives so that they would give her favorable coverage. Actually, I think she's that kind of a narcissist, sick person. But yeah, anyway, that's why her and Pramila, I guess, have so much to bond over.
That you really have to get more into the weeds of how you change a system that has existed to consolidate power.
If I hear you correctly, you're talking about the consolidation of power within the party itself. And you're talking about the fact that the infrastructure has to change, the system has to change. But I haven't heard you say anything about how that's going to happen. And you say it has to be nuanced, but how is it even going to happen in a nuanced way? Nothing you've said makes me understand how it's even going to happen in a nuanced way. What's going to change it?
These are the pieces of infrastructure I'm talking about. You can say we want to elect progressives, but if you don't have the ability to put money into finding, recruiting, training, supporting, and bringing along progressives.
Give us more money. We need more progressives to not ask for any concessions from Speaker Jeffries.
So that they can win. So the Cori Bushes and the Jamal Bowmans and the Marie Newmans and all of those people, you're not going to be able to do it. I ran, you might remember, Marianne, in a primary that was a 9-way primary for a seat that had been occupied by a Democrat for 28 years. So there were a lot of people lined up who believed that this was their seat. They were entitled to the seat. I was told not to run. I was told to run for something else. I was told that I wouldn't be able to raise the money I needed to raise. It ended up being the most expensive non-swing district race in the country because, like California, we have a top.
Pramila, with all due respect, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. These people really know how to bore you to death, to distract, to deflect. They really, Hakeem doesn't know how to answer a straight answer. Doesn't know how to answer a question straight up. Pramila, for the life of me, for the life of her, for the life of everybody, can't find the point. Find the point, Pramila. Find the note. Find it. Find it, for fuck's sake.
2 primary. I ran against somebody who was running on a more, centrist, business-friendly agenda, a Democrat. And I won. But we've got to be able to do that and change the makeup of Congress. Otherwise, we're not going to have the votes. We don't have the votes.
We don't have the votes. We need to elect more Democrats. And you need to give us more money to do that, because we don't have the votes. We have a Democratic House, a Democratic Senate, and the Democratic presidency, but we can't do anything except give you Cobra subsidies. Can you sign up for a recurring monthly donation?
It's right now. And that's the thing that people have to understand.
I understand, and I have tremendous respect for you, and I see everything you're doing. I'm your biggest champion. And you said a couple of things just now. You said we have to raise the money for the progressives. You've got Democratic corporatist elite leadership who is actually spending money in race after race to suppress the progressives. It's not just a matter of progressives not being able to raise the money. You've got your own leadership who's going around saying, we don't even want you to run unless you have a lot of money, so you're more likely to get money, people.
I hate to say that. I hate to say it when a Zionist makes a good point, but the racist witch of the Northeast did make a good point here. Leadership is working against progressives to the extent, no matter how subservient you guys are to leadership, no matter how much you lick Nancy Pelosi's and Hakeem Jeffries' boots, they're still spending money to primary you guys. Some of you, not all of you. And I think it's very interesting which candidates don't get a primary. But it's always progressive policies that are sort of falling by the wayside out of these negotiations between leadership and progressives. We never see any progressive wins out of those kinds of battles. These people don't want to be. Pramila, that's why nobody wanted to run against Jeffries for speaker. No one wanted to vote against him. They didn't want to anger him. They didn't want to. The word was antagonize. They didn't want to antagonize Jeffries. And if you're not going to try to, if you're not going to want to antagonize corporate Democrats or corporate leadership Democrats, what are you doing? Where do you think that's going to land you? It's going to land you in the land of making excuses for a party that does nothing for people except immiserate them over and over and over again. From the right and left trousers, I hope she stumbles upon I hope she stumbles upon into a curse which causes every one of the books behind her to become filled with her gibberish. That's a beautiful sentiment. Thank you for that. Thank you. I join you in wishing. Maybe there's a shooting star behind us right now. Listen to us. Marianne, can you put that into your spells or whatever, your chakras, your whatever? From Fascism Watch here, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Marianne makes no exception. Oh yeah, she's definitely broken. I'm just thinking of all of the Zionism that came out of Marianne's mouth, even during the genocide. Like, she couldn't help it. It was unbelievable. From the right and left trousers, Marianne could go a bit farther if she wanted to. She's actually got a bit of brains, backbone, and charisma. She just can't get over her narcissism, commitment to capitalism, and racism. 100%. 100%. It's almost... No, that's exactly right. Like, she can't get out of her own way. Even, like, I think... Remember when Trump was making that horrifying racist joke about Haitian immigrants in Ohio eating dogs and cats, which was a lie. It was based on a lie. It was a bullshit lie. He just put it out there because he's hateful and racist and xenophobic. And he thought that would rile up his base. Marianne actually jumped, of all people, right? Of all people who would join the discourse, she jumped into the discourse to say, actually, Haitians are known to do voodoo, and the left needs to sort of grapple with the facts and sort of understand that some people have a connect. Like she was basically trying to make Trump's case that, yeah, they eat dogs and cats, and you can't just dismiss it out of hand. You can't just make fun of it. That's because she was trying to find a way in to the right-wing Trump segment of the population, or whatever, customer base, people who would buy her Jesus book or whatever the fuck. But it was so racist and so uncalled for and so unexpected. Even though I knew she was racist, like, that surprised me. That she would, like, that's what you would find common ground with Trump on? Ugh. Never trust a Zionist. Never trust a Zionist. But I agree with you that she does have charisma. It's sad. I think if she just wasn't a narcissist or racist, I think she would see the Palestine issue not just as a moral issue that she could have, like, really advocated. I mean, I believe she's Jewish, at least in theory, or grew up in a Jewish family. So she could have really, like, I don't know, spoken to that issue. And I mean, she's a gifted speaker. I'll give her that. She made a lot of money that way. She could have really, like, been an interesting and compelling political candidate if she knew how to talk about Palestinian liberation, or wanted to talk about Palestinian liberation or equal rights from the river to the sea, and bring sort of her perspective and her good energies into making that case. But she's too racist. She couldn't do it. She couldn't even see the political benefit to being pro-Palestine in the 2024 election. It's astounding, actually. But she married our gorgeous icons. Who did she marry? Oh my God, let me Google that. Did she marry more than once? Sorry, Marianne. Actually, I'm not sorry, because you're racist. She married in 1979 to a Houston businessman. And she said the marriage lasted for 1.5 years. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, there's another one. Marianne with her husband, Evan Williams. All right. Who's that? Interesting. Crystal and Kyle. Oh my God. Oh, that, I see what you mean now. Okay. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Oh my, I bet they really regret that, actually. I mean, maybe regret isn't in their DNA. They don't have the capacity to regret things. I would regret that so fucking bad if she was at my wedding. Oh my God. She could not budge during that campaign. Yeah, it was really something to see. I had like I just remember, I think because I'm in the company of friends, so I can reveal this. Reveal! Oh my God, little tidbit. But Brianna Joy Gray, friend of the show, former protege of one Ryan Grimm.
False. It's just false, false, false,
it's not false.
Ryan, you can't. You're not supposed. You're not. First of all, don't interrupt me. She had a call-in show, sort of like a radio call. No, it wasn't on the radio, but it was like a way to sort of talk to Brie and sort of on any political issues that had to do with her podcast. And I remember I called in to bring up why I thought Marianne was, not worth voting for, even in a Democratic primary. And mind you, this was before the genocide. And I brought up Marianne being a Zionist and sort of, I think the argument I made was that you can't really advocate for reparations for Black people in the United States and also ethnic cleansing in Palestine without that being an inconsistency. And I just remember the pushback I got, and just feeling really scared in a way, not scared, but that, Brie was gonna do something. I was scared of disagreeing with Brie about this. I really was, and I'm not really sure why, but it was hard for me to bring up. It was hard. It was not easy, but I felt very, very certain that Marianne being a Zionist was a deal breaker for me personally, at least. And then that sort of became more and more pronounced as the campaign dragged on. She refused to, I think she suspended the campaign and then she resurrected it like Jesus. So I think it sort of became clearer to everybody what she was really about. But I remember at the time, it was very hard to disagree with people who had a friendship with Marianne. And sort of, it was like telling them that Santa doesn't exist or something. They really believed in her. Yeah, so I just remember that being very difficult for me, on a personal level, to bring that up. But but I offered that pushback. Maybe I'll play a clip of that next time if you're interested. From the right and left trousers, the planets weren't aligned correctly. She forgot Mercury was in retrograde. Damn it, she timed it wrong. Marianne, we need to look at your life chart. They from the right and left trousers, they deserve it. The way they treated Brianna over Biden 1 month before Al-Aqsa flood. But the NLRB, why can't you accept that the NLRB is good? Why do you hate workers? Why do you hate unions? Why do you hate progress? I think even Kyle said something like, Biden did everything he could about student loans. He did everything he could. He did everything he could. Kyle really shows you that once you're a used car salesman, you're always going to be a used car salesman. And just as effective. Oh my God, the traveler here. I don't think I can say what you're alluding to. Maybe I can. But oh my God. But that's very nice alliteration. I think I'm gonna forward that to Hakeem Jeffries, so he has his case. Crystal Kyle. Knowledge over kangaroo courts. From the Ryan Left Trousers. Sure, I love Brie, but for a while, Marianne was a proto-Plattner. Oh my God, she was on the Plattner side? I missed that. Oh my God. But of course. Of course she was. She's racist. Like, like Plattner spoke to the racist, like Ryan Grimm, who is still going to bed at night worrying about anti-white bigotry and what he can do to fight it.
False. It's just false, false, false. No, it's not false.
It's not false. You guys, I love that you're bringing up that debate. Should I play that tomorrow? That Crystal, Kyle, and Bree debate about voting third party. I think it's so interesting and kind of useful that they even had it before the genocide, because to me, it was very clear that Democrats were betraying their base and voters and progressives like us, like myself. It was very obvious that they had nothing to show for their quote-unquote win. And I think Crystal and Kyle were really struggling to come up with anything that wasn't the LNRB, the NLRB, the NLRB. Bree did really well in that. Of course she did. But I thought it was really insightful, and also it showed you that even before the genocide, there was nothing to celebrate with Democrats. Really nothing. Not even one single win that you could point to and say, that was a good thing they did. Maybe I should play that. Yeah, I'll play that tomorrow. Oh, and her Chomsky debate. That's what put me onto him as a piece of shit. Yeah, no. That was Chomsky. You know what? I'm going to play that too. That was so funny. Chomsky is so fucking gross. I never liked them. I never understood what people revered so much about him. I get like the whole like manufacturing consent, la la la, like, they like having you debate within this limited framework and not anywhere beyond it, la la la. But like, his political analysis has always been, to me, extremely fucking stupid and reductive. I never got it. But like, people I think love having celebrities or icons or people they can email and that email them back. Like Nathan Robinson. What a disgusting. I hate Nathan Robinson. You know how I hate Ryan Grimm? There's a level below that in my heart that's reserved also to hating Nathan Robinson. I think he's so pathetic and so sleazy. From the Traveler here. Nah, that debate, that Crystal Cow and Brie debate was wild, but I think Brie was trying to hold her tongue in that debate, like she did with Seder during the Force the Vote debate. Yeah, I think you're right. And I think at certain points, Kyle was so annoying. Kyle especially, it's so annoying that it was hard to like contain her frustration. I think it would have been more thoughtful if maybe it was just her and Crystal going back and forth, because Kyle is so annoying. Like, he just, he loves to interrupt, to stumble, to run ramshot over people's points. Like, also, I think he's such a self-centered baby. Like, every time, like most of his questions to guests, that's why I gave up on their podcast. It's like all of the questions he asks the guests is, here's what I think. What do you think about what I just said? Like, he keeps wanting validation from people and feedback on like, here's my take. What's your take on my take? And it's a classic insecure man baby who never grew up. And I don't love men that much to tolerate that kind of bullshit. Yeah, we're gonna play some of those greatest hits tomorrow. I think that's interesting, especially Chomsky and all of that stuff. I think you're right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for inspiring tomorrow's program. Um, from Fascism Watch, Zionists always support Nazis, neo-Nazis, natural alignment. One and the same, huh? One and the same. I mean, the way they talked about Marianne, it's a classic. It's like the way Ryan Grimm talks about AOC.
False. It's just false, false, false,
it's not false.
Ryan, it's almost your bedtime. Okay, don't worry. From the Ryan Left Trousers, is he really so sleazy? I used to consider him a bit of a LOL cow, but but what do you find so terrible about him? About Kyle? You know, for me, it's not even the hair. It's just maybe there's a certain segment. Listen, if there's a certain segment of the population that he speaks to, that he keeps entertained and interested in politics and all that stuff, I think that's great. I think the vibe I get from him most often is just used car salesman, like, but doing that for the Democratic Party in a very like aggressive, unsophisticated, elementary, basic way. I don't even know how much of his heart is really in it at this point. I think maybe before 2020, he used to be a little bit, I used to sort of tolerate it a little bit more, his content, I mean. But I just find him really uninteresting. And at least with the podcast he does with Crystal, like I find that he never makes a point that I think is worthwhile or that's worth my time. Also, I think what I don't like rude people, and he likes to step on people's points, interrupt them. And I get that sort of like an excitement thing. He's excited. He's excited to be in the same room and talk politics. I think it's really fun for him. I think it's like ESPN to him. I can tell he likes sports. I can sense that. And I think I don't like people who talk about politics in general like it's a sports game, or like putting players on the board and that kind of shit. You know, that's kind of my number one aversion. Kyle is a clown with a K. Oh my gosh. You know, but he's not, I mean, I think he's probably like really fun as a friend to hang out with. You know what I mean? I think he's probably like a really good whatchamacallit, like a friend, you know, if you visit him, like I'm sure he's so super gracious. Like if you visit his house, like I'm sure he's like the best friend, you know, like I'm sure he pampers you with food, and make sure you guys have like everything you need and to have a good time. Great at parties. I just find his political analysis really annoying and really, really grating. And from Fascism Watch, and he makes streams from his car. Yeah, I think he should do comedy. Maybe I'll sign him up for the Groundlings or Second City. I think he would be great. So Kyle, just some career advice. Thank you for everything you've done for the movement. Thank you, besties. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Marianne. Just kidding. I'll play the rest of this Marianne clip maybe later this week. Unfortunately, there's more to that awful list of excuses about why we can't have nice things. But please come back tomorrow, guys. And to join the fun, to join the party. I'll be here. I promise I'll be on time.
It's false. It's just false, false, false,
it's not false.
Oh my God. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. What did I want to say to close this out? Never trust a Zionist. Never trust a Democrat. And you deserve better. If you're listening to this, I guarantee you, you're a good person and you deserve better. Unless you're Ryan Grimm. Ryan, I told you to turn this off. I'll be back tomorrow. Right and Left Trousers, don't forget to check out the Wallace and Gromit YouTube channel. They have new content. Kime, thank you for being here. Fascism Watch, thank you for being here on the watch. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 9:30 Eastern. Free Palestine, from the river to the sea.